We in the game this morning. We in the game this morning, man. Shout out to everybody right here, right now, man. We are in the building, man. Gonna get in. We about to talk about Donald Trump, man. Trump progress with Iran. We gonna get into Marco Rubio. We gonna get into Pete Hegseth. We gonna get into um, the supreme, not the foreign minister, basically the spokesperson of Iran. We're gonna get into that, man, because it's just a lot of things coming up right now, a lot of tensions between Iran and the U.S. right now, and so with these negotiations, Iran on one hand, Iran is saying that there's no deals, there's no negotiations taking place. The U.S. messages are not negotiations, and United States and the president himself is saying that they're making good progress with negotiations with Iran, and they just need to come to a deal. So, which who's telling the truth, right? Will we ever know who's telling the truth? Oh, how long will this drag out? Will this be a 4 to 6 week operation like the president told us? Will it extend out for the remainder of 2026? We just don't really know. We just don't really know, chat, and that is left to be determined at this point. At this point, it is left to be. On your way in here, guys, hit the like button on the way in. Shout out to everybody that's coming in right now. Hi, can I donate 100 pounds? Absolutely. You can definitely donate. You can definitely donate. Hit that like button on the way in. You can donate via super chats, and also you can donate um, on Cash App as well, which you can find in my description down at the bottom. Find in my description on my main page. Okay, but we're gonna go ahead and get into the video. The first video, we're gonna go ahead and get into the update on what's happening in this war. So let's get into it right here.
Well, over the weekend, I had the opportunity to visit our troops fighting in Operation Epic Fury. We were on the ground, in CENTCOM on Saturday for about half the day. For reasons of operational security.
And it looks like somebody just, what was that? Tyler F donated 100 pounds. I don't know what that was. It looked like we got some type of notification and I didn't see it. Let me see if I can get the notifications to show up the right way they're supposed to show up. Because I want to make sure I get all my alerts on. Dom, God bless you and your family, brother. Oh man, God bless you too, brother. Brother Diaz in the building, man. Good to see you again, brother. It's good to see you as always, man. As always, good to see you, brother. Trying to get this. Okay, so this is my alert box right here. So let me try to move this up real quick so we can get back into the video, and then we can try to get the chat going. All right, guys, hit the like button on the way in. Hit the like button on the way in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as we get into this video. As we get back into the video, guys. So here we go. Let's get back into the video.
So those troops are not targeted. The places and bases will not be named. Suffice it to say, the trip was an honor. I had a chance to bear witness, and I witnessed the best of America. I witnessed warriors, a brotherhood of men and women, warriors all, active duty, guard, and reserve, united in their love for each other, their shared purpose, and their commitment to the mission. I witnessed sheer competency. I watched a private first class confidently calling out an enemy missile trajectory to a room full of officers. Everyone focused. The room was locked in. 2 enemy missiles successfully shot down. I spoke to Air Force and Navy pilots on the flight line who every day both deliver bombs deep into Iran, but also shoot down drones defending their base. Many had just returned from the skies of Iran and Tehran. I put on a headset and spoke to one crew
Good
in the
morning,
cockpit,
Connor. Good morning.
locked and loaded, each and every day.
How you doing, brother?
I witnessed ingenuity, American ingenuity. I met the young Army officer who figured out how to neutralize maneuvering enemy missiles, saving countless lives. His commander confirmed that the whoops and cheers erupted in the Tactical Operations Center when his new approach was first successful. I met the Air Force intel analyst who refines target packages faster than the enemy can adapt. I actually gave him my card and told him to keep me posted on the ground truth. I did the same with his boss, a colonel with a heart the size of Texas and a beautiful deployment mustache to match. I witnessed lethality. I met a junior airman as the sun was going down and a chill was setting on the tarmac, who, when asked what they needed, she simply looked up at me with a sly smile on her face and said, "More bombs, sir, and bigger bombs. We will happily oblige her."
We're not going to engage nonsense today, chat. We are not going to. Somebody just said something bad about Jesse Jackson. We just gonna hide them from the channel. I'm gonna hide the people from the channel. My moderators, you can time them out for 86,000 seconds. I don't really give a damn either way. You can time them out for 86,000 seconds. Hell, if you got 106 seconds, try to do that. So, but anyways, we're gonna get back into the video. We're gonna get back into the video. It looks like Pete Pete Hegseth is he's trying to take a different direction in terms of what he's talking about in his press right here. Right, he's trying to sort of point out the fact that the military is totally focused on what the mission is. Right, he's because there's so many questions that are being asked from the media, from the American people, and so everyone wants to know exactly, what is our true objectives. And of course they keep repeating the same thing. We're trying to make sure we dismantle their missile capabilities. We're trying to make sure that Iran do not pose an imminent threat. Iran do not have a nuclear capabilities, blah 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 blah. But I really don't think that the answers are enough. It's not really answering the questions, or it's not really what the American people want to hear, because not only are the American people listening to what this administration is telling them, but a lot of people are actually they're listening to other news outlets as well. I'm talking about international news outlet. They're listening to the foreign minister uh, interview. They're listening to people in Iran interview too. They're listening to some of the spokespeople in Iran as well. So, we're going to listen to the foreign minister of Iran, and he's going to speak about these negotiations that um, the president is talking about, and also Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth. So, um, guys, thank you for joining in today, guys. Hit the like button on the way in. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well as we get back into what Pete Hegseth is discussing right here. Okay.
I met the Army targeting team who found and sunk the pride and joy of the Iranian Navy, their fighting position plastered with images of sunken enemy ships. And I witnessed urgency. Right when we landed, another C-17 landed just minutes after us. And within 30 seconds of the aircraft coming to a full stop, a team on the ground pulled up and the cargo was being uploaded. Wartime speed. To a man and to a woman, on the ground, in the air, on the flight line, and in the talk, I heard, "We want everything faster, higher op tempo, wartime speed." The feeling was the exact opposite of the rotational units year after year in the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan that we're so familiar with. In those wars, it was always about the next rotation, never knowing when the mission would end or exactly what the mission was, year after year. Not with Epic Fury.
Y'all think he's gonna talk about that? He said epic fury, but do you think he's gonna talk about that epic failure on February 28th, the first missile that was launched? And they never want to discuss how they unalived 100 plus children at a school. They never want to talk about that. Like, how do you start a war like that? People want to say there was miscalculation or they had the wrong intel, but man, I swear, every day that this war sort of just commence, right? Every day this war just progresses, right? It never fails me to not think about the school full of children that we, as the United States of America, that we are responsible for taking the lives of all of those children, right? Regardless if you want to talk about, uh, you want to talk about nuclear capabilities, missile capacities, blah 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 blah. How did we get that wrong? How did we get the wrong intel, quote unquote? How did we make collateral damage that bad, bro? How did we do that? That's crazy to me. I can't, like, every day, like with this war, I can't get past my mind that we, the USA, we bombed a school full of, they say, some people say 160 plus children, some people say 175 children, and some teachers and staffs. But man, when you do that, dude, like, how do you continue with a straight face and give press conferences every day and talk like you didn't just unalive all these little kids, bro? Like, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. But anyways, just I'm just saying, like, how do you not, even if you support this war, like, how do you not acknowledge that we did that? We did that.
Witnessed urgency to finish the job, urgency to achieve mission success, not looking at the next rotation, only moving as fast as possible to win. I got a chance to troop the line, to witness firsthand what we already know is true. I spoke to all ranks and all services, none of whom knew we were coming. It was not rehearsed or scripted. Sometimes we just wandered.
That's crazy.
What I witnessed was motivation. It was sheer mission focus. It was the American warrior unleashed. It was the kind of warfighting American spirit.
Somebody said that's such fake news. Is it? That's such fake news. Yeah, that's what you would say to dismiss the facts, right? That's what you would say. Are all right? Let's get rid of you. Boom. Yeah, there you go. Boom. I'll show you how dumb we are. You just got sniped, literally. So now you can type in the chat and see if your chat actually go through. It probably won't. What you saying right now? You're still watching me, right? Literally, you're still watching me right now. But you type in the chat and let's see if your chat goes through. It probably won't, cause you just got sniped. Bow. Go on up out of here. Thank you for your service, Scott. Says veteran here. Thank you for your service.
That comes with a clear mission against a determined enemy. A crew chief we flew with summed it up nicely. He said, "It's been a busy few weeks, sir. Tough stuff. But I'm so honored to be called up. This fight is long overdue. We need to address it for our kids. We cannot pass the buck. Please thank the president from us." I heard that time and time again.
Time and time
I asked
again.
each young American, "What do you need?" And nobody said better equipment. Nobody said more comfortable living conditions. Nobody said send me home. Well, of course, eventually.
That's because they're scared to speak up. Like, come on, bro. He really acting like military servicemen actually have a choice to speak up and say something. Like, he acting like they're not just like they're gonna just uh speak out and talk back or give an opinion to anybody in leadership in the military. Hell no. You know how fast you will lose rank if you say something that's uh in opposition to the mission. You know how fast you will be struck down if you, like he act like they have a choice. They don't have a choice. The only choice you have as a service member is to fall in fucking line. If you sign that dot, you signed your life over to the military, you have no say so. So why is he acting like they have a They have a choice. They don't have a choice.
We want all those things. They do too. But what those Americans said to me, young and old, officer and NCO, male and female, black and white, was let's finish the mission. Get us even more bombs, bigger bombs, more targets. Let us finish this. In fact, Admiral Cooper noted this morning that the 3 Air Force captains shot down by Kuwaiti friendly fire early in the fight weeks ago. They never left the theater. All dropped bombs over Tehran last night. These men and women live the Iranian threat every day, incoming missiles and drones, and know what a world looks like, what the world would look like if Iran had the most dangerous weapons in the world, a nuclear weapon.
It's funny because wait, if I'm not mistaken, when those fighter jets were first, let's get rid of that spam. Let's get rid of that spam in the chat. Boom, 86,000 seconds. You gone for 86,000 seconds. But if I'm not mistaken, right? I thought when that first happened, when those fighter jets were shot down, right, by friendly fire, did they call it friendly fire at first, or did they blame Iran for shooting down those fighter jets? I can't remember. Y'all let me know. I can't. Was it initially they blamed Iran for that, or they came out the gate initially and said that it was friendly fire? I can't remember. I can't remember. Y'all let me know because I want to make a point because it's like um he Iran hasn't started a war and it lasts blah blah blah. Holy war Hegseth. I'm glad I'm not in anymore. You do have a say so. You do that. I will correct you on that, sir. You don't have a say so. You do have a say so, but trust me when I tell you this, it will cost you. Facts. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right about that. I can agree to you do have a say so, but it will cost you. It will cost you. It will cost you for sure. No, Obama shot him down. Okay. I think blame Iran. It was 50-50. Okay. Okay, I can't remember, but all I'm saying is right. It just it just depends on like what the narrative is, right? Whatever the narrative is kind of like what they will accept, right? So they're willing to accept that Kuwait made a mistake and it was a friendly fire that shot down those fighter jets, right? But you saw when that school was bombed in Iran, they immediately blame it on they blamed it on Iran initially, right? They blamed it on Iran, said Iran, and then when the sources when the facts came out and they told them that Iran do not have tomahawks, right? Iran does not possess tomahawk missiles. And then what did the president say? The president said, "Oh well, there's plenty of countries with tomahawks. There's plenty of countries that has tomahawk. China has tomahawks. This country has tomahawks, right? So we didn't want to take accountability for something that we failed on, or something that we made a mistake on, right? We miscalculated or had the wrong intel. We didn't want to take accountability on that part, right? We wanted to dismiss it." And so I find that interesting though. Let's get back to the video. I don't want to be too long-winded. I'm sorry about that. Hit the like button on the way in, guys. Damn, that girl pretty. Jesus Christ, she look good. Anyways, let's get back.
As President Trump has said time and time again for years, and in this administration, Iran cannot have a nuclear bomb, and they won't. These troops, they want to finish this fight for their kids and their grandkids. This is about history. This is about legacy. Success matters. And because of this president and these Americans, we're closer than ever before to winning. President Trump is doing what no other president had
That is a good question, Doug, because they definitely said they did.
the guts to do. Previous presidents were all talk. He's all action. On the battlefield, because of the latitude the president has given us, American firepower is only increasing. Iran's decreasing. We have more and more options, and they have less. Just 1 month in, only 1 month, we set the terms. The upcoming days will be decisive. Iran knows that, and there's almost nothing they can militarily do about it. Yes, they will still shoot some missiles, but we will shoot them down. Of note, the last 24 hours saw the lowest number of enemy missiles and drones fired by Iran.
Is that because of the is that really because of reduction, or is that strategy? Right? Are we seeing a decrease in Iran strikes? Right? Because they like to say that they've decreased their missile capabilities by 80 something percent. But you hear the president say we've stopped their missile strikes by 90%. But is that strategic from Iran, or is that actually the case? I don't know. I don't know. But apparently, Iran is still sending missiles. They're still sending missiles, and they are sending them daily, on a daily. So we're gonna find out that we're gonna listen to some videos from the other side too in just a minute. But we're gonna let Pete keep going. We're gonna let Pete tell his tale.
They will go underground, but we will find them. We recently destroyed another one of their command bunkers. Leaders forced to flee. No water, no power, no oxygen, no command and control. Their faith in their caves diminishing. The latest intel is clear out of CENTCOM. Our strikes are damaging the morale of the Iranian military, leading to widespread desertions, key personnel shortages, and causing frustrations amongst senior leaders.
Mm,
Just last night, we had 200 dynamic strikes alone.
200.
Dynamic strike is a strike where a pilot leaves and during their flight they get a new target set based on real-time intel given to them. A new launcher, a new location, a new troop formation. A dynamic target is one that changes while you're in the air because of improved intelligence. 200 dynamic strikes alone, in addition to the pre-planned targets. The video the
Damn.
president posted last night of Esfahan, an ammo depot struck by U.S. bombers. You see, you don't get to see many of those videos because, as a reminder, Iran has still shut off the internet to 99.9% of its population.
Have y'all saw those videos? I didn't see those videos. Where where was those videos? What videos are he referring to? He said we can't see the videos because Iran shut off the internet. They didn't shut off the internet over here. Let me go back for a second.
That leaves, and during their flight, they get a new target set based on real-time intel given to them. A new launcher, a new location, a new
Dolly, 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 Dolly. What's up, Dolly? Dolly's in the building. My moderator Dolly's in the building. Shout out to Dolly, y'all.
troop formation. A dynamic target is one that changes while you're in the air because of improved intelligence. 200 dynamic strikes alone, in addition to the pre-planned targets. The video the president posted last night of Esfahan, an ammo depot struck by U.S. bombers. You see, you don't get to see many of those videos because, as a reminder, Iran has still shut off the internet to 99.9% of its population. But if Iran is wise, they will cut a deal. President
How are you, Dolly? I haven't saw you in about 20 weeks. How are you? We are screwed. Our defense secretary is a damn TV host. Dolly says, I'm back. I've been so busy. How 5 days till to Spain. Oh, you're going to Spain. That's right. That's right.
Trump doesn't bluff and he does not back down. You can ask Khomeini about that. The new Iranian regime should know that by now. This new regime, because regime change has occurred, should be wiser than the last. President Trump will make a deal. He is willing. And the terms of the deal are known to them. If Iran is not willing, then the United States War Department will continue with even more intensity.
It feels like it, Dolly.
Standing here this morning in this briefing room, in my mind's eye, I'm actually looking out at the groups I met this weekend. The pilots, the logisticians, the intel analysts, the targeters, the sustainers, the flight crews, the air defenders, the base security, those maintainers who we walked up at sunset with the chill in the air on the flight line. May God watch over all of them, each day and each night. May his almighty and eternal arms of providence stretch over them and protect them and bring them peace. In the name of Jesus Christ.
Yo, like I can't even respect that. I can't even respect it. It just seems so like staged. Like It's not it don't even feel like a genuine prayer. Oh my gosh, bro. Like how can you say a prayer like that after you can't even acknowledge your mistake on a school of 160 plus children, bro, that you initiated the strike on. But you want to pray in the name of Jesus, bro, like the hypocrisy is crazy, y'all. The hypocrisy is wild, bro. Wild. Oh my gosh. These Abrahamic wars gotta stop, y'all. These Abrahamic wars has to stop.
over all of them, each day and each night. May his almighty and eternal arms of providence stretch over them and protect them and bring them peace. In the name of Jesus Christ. And amen. Mr. Chairman, over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning, everyone, and thank you again for being here. As operations continue, I remain deeply grateful for the service and determination of 2.8 million members of our joint force, each of whom are serving something greater than themselves. Every day, those deployed, and in many cases, those at home who are deploying forward and bomber pulses and others put themselves in harm's way, and we owe them a deep debt of gratitude. I remain especially grateful for our fallen who gave the ultimate sacrifice. We'll never forget their valor and their determination to do something greater than themselves. And each day we continue to earn
What's
what
that,
they've given
General
to us.
Kane?
This morning, I want to share that yesterday the Joint Force had the honor of participating in the
Four-star
burial
general?
of Colonel Clarence Emil Bud Anderson, who passed away in May of 2024 at the ripe old age of 102. He was laid to rest in Arlington Cemetery yesterday morning alongside his wife of 70 years, Eleanor, who he married.
Matthew, I have no clue, Matthew. I have no clue that we really allowed this, bro. It's crazy. It's really funny to watch some days, man. I mean, it's not funny to watch, but it's just like, wow. You know, I can't believe like we literally allowed this administration to win, bro. This is crazy. Parody, bro. Parody every day.
On February 23rd, 1945. She passed away in 2015 at the age of 92. Bud, yesterday, a legend to our Air Force and fighter pilots everywhere, was honored with a combination flyby of F-35s and a four-ship of P-51 Mustangs. He was one of the most prolific flying aces of World War II and the highest scoring P-51 ace with 16 and a quarter kills in his squadron and in
What's up,
his group.
Sterling?
And he served from 1942 to 1972, and his last combat tour was flying F-104 Thunder Chiefs over North Vietnam. For anyone that had the chance to meet Colonel Anderson, you knew what an incredibly special man he was. And that's true for each and every one of our World War II vets who become fewer and fewer with each passing day. They are the greatest generation and give us the gift of an incredible example as we execute Operation Epic Fury today. And Colonel Anderson, we
What's up, Bridget?
mourn for your loss, and remember that smile on the right side as you went out to do our nation's business.
Facts,
I'd like to now
memes.
share an operational update. Our joint force
What's up,
continues
Sterling?
to focus on our military objectives as we systematically continue to degrade and destroy Iran's ability to project power and threaten stability beyond its borders. First, the joint force continues to destroy Iran's ballistic missile and UAS capabilities. We remain focused on interdicting.
Please consider the thousands of American lives lost since 1979. From who? When? Where? When did they? Where? Where and when? Well, since 1970. Where? In the United States? From who? You talking about Iran? Iran killed thousands of Americans. Where? Where did they kill them at? I mean, unalive them. Where did they unalive them at? What's up, Crystal? Crystal, how you doing? Andrew, what's going on, Andrew? In elections, liberals choose the more liberal side, and war liberal side with the more conservative and more religious side. Gotcha. Okay.
and destroying the logistical and supply chains that feed these programs. And this remains a truly joint effort, prosecuted around the clock from air, land, sea, space, and cyberspace. Long-range bombers from U.S. Strategic Command are coordinating with tactical fighter aircraft from our joint force, launched from bases around the region and the continental United States, while simultaneously Navy fighters from the sea and sailors continue to project power from the sea, while Army and Marine artillery units continue to execute long-range precision fires deep into enemy territory against high-value targets. Meanwhile, on the defense side, our Army and Air Defense.
If you don't know, you shouldn't be running this podcast because they are you saying I'm supposed to know every fucking thing? You gonna tell me I shouldn't be running the podcast? I'm gonna show you how I run the podcast right here. Watch this. Now let's see if you could type in my chat again, you fucking clown. Get your bitch ass out of here.
And aviators.
You act like I'm supposed to know everything. Motherfucker, I'm learning every day just like you learning. I can't stand some of y'all who come in here and think you know every fucking thing. I don't know. I know Iran and America been at each other's neck since 1979, right? We've unalived them, they've unalived us. We can't just sit up here and act like we haven't unalived none of their people either. We can't sit up here and act like we didn't go into Iran and set up refineries and all that stuff in 1979 and trying to help them extract oil from the ground and getting a larger percentage of all of the profits. And then when they realized that America was getting all of the profit from the oil, they had a problem with the shit. And that's when the conflict started. I know a little something. I don't know everything, but goddamn, we be trying to act like we don't kill it. We don't unalive them either. We be trying to act like we so righteous. Like America always been righteous throughout history, bro. Stop that shit, bro. We have not always been righteous, bro. Let's stop playing these games, man. Stop playing these games. I swear we always want to throw rocks and then hide our hand and act like, and we play victim on everything. Oh, they're killing Americans. They're killing Americans. They're doing this. They're doing this. We do bullshit too. We literally do a bunch of bullshit. That big lie in Iraq about weapons of mass destruction, bro. Come on, bro. We all knew that shit was a lie. We all knew that shit was a lie, bro. But y'all swear, bro. Y'all swear we're just so righteous, bro. Stop playing.
As the Secretary talked about, remain vigilant, forming a shield to protect our forces and our partners, intercepting missiles and drones. Together, we continue to deliver precision strikes against key manufacturers.
Tulsi Gabbard sat up there and said that the IC did not have reasons to believe that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States. What did Donald Trump say? I don't care what she said. I don't care what she said. Literally. So, bro, come on, man. Stop playing with me, man.
Manufacturing nodes, component storage sites, research facilities deep within Iranian territory. And over the past 30 days, we've struck more than 11,000 targets. Given the increase in air superiority, we've successfully started to conduct the first overland B-52 missions, which allow us, as we've said before, to continue to get.
Yo, when you come in here, bro, and throw ad hominems, you already lost, bro. You can't, some of you clowns, dog, you can't even come in here and disagree respectfully. You come in here and call names and say this. Like, as soon as you throw ad hominems, you already lost your argument. I've already blocked you from the channel. You're gone. So you can just type in the chat and it won't even show us nothing. Just type in my chat. You can watch me all day, type in the chat, and it won't even show nothing. You just type it to yourself at this point.
Get on top of the enemy, and as the Secretary talked about, switch towards more and more dynamic targets, servicing mobile targets around the battle space. We've continued to do the work against Iran's missile, drone, and naval production facilities, and we continue the multi-domain pressure that we've talked about. Second, on the Navy front, we continue to assert dominance over the Iranian Navy. We remain focused on targeting their mine laying capability, their naval assets, and we've now, as I mentioned briefly last time, started to work attack helicopters and other close air support assets into the naval domain. CENTCOM continues to identify and work against naval depots and storage areas. And we've taken out, again, more than 150 ships, including all Jamaran-class frigates inside their Navy.
He said, "Oh, so censorship look like I'm moving to a better channel. Bye, bro. You're one in a million people that come through here, bro. Bye. See you later."
Third, we continue to prosecute our campaign against our defense.
People be acting like when they say they leaving, they're going to another channel. Like, bro, you don't have to tell me that. Just go. Like literally, bro. When I'm scrolling and I'm looking at channels, if I don't like somebody's channel, bro, I just swipe up. Like I don't have to type in the chat and announce to them like, "Hey, I don't like your channel. I'm going to a different channel." You're so weird. Y'all some weird ass people, bro. Weird as fuck.
Industrial base at scale. This includes factories, warehouses, nuclear weapons research and development labs, and the associated infrastructure required for Iran to reconstitute its combat capability. I'd like to continue my theme of highlighting the incredible contributions of Americans to our joint force. Today I want to talk a little bit about a different front line, a line that doesn't have bunkers or guard posts, but is just as critical to our nation's security, inside our defense industrial base, but even more broadly inside our national industrial. Incorrectly calibrated sensor could mean the difference between mission success.
Hey, shout out to our military though. Definitely shout out to our military. I mean, shout out to everybody that served and are serving. For sure. So definitely don't want to disrespect that at all. But we're going to go ahead and move on to questioning. See what kind of questions they're going to get from the media. Let's see here. Because I don't know if that's Admiral Kane or is that General Kane. I see 4 stars up there, but I don't know if it's Admiral or General. I can't really tell by the video.
The work that we are tasked to do. 24/7, they build the tools that we need to do our business. The skill, the commitment, the patriotism, the dedication poured into every piece of combat capability and hardware is seen and felt out at the edge of the force. As the Secretary.
You said, why don't I just block people, Clifton? Watch this, Clifton. There you go, Clifton. There you go, Clifton. You right, Clifton. You right. You right.
Terry talked about those young bomb builders out in the desert that he had the chance to see. You can see it, you can feel it, and it's real, and we're deeply grateful. So to the American workforce out there, both inside our defense industrial base and in our national industrial base, thank you on behalf of the joint force. We carry
General Kane. Okay, General Kane, that's right.
The weapons that you build. We rely on the systems that you create, and the distance from that factory floor and that assembly line to the front line is incredibly short. Thank you. Keep it up. And to our adversaries out there, I remind you to beware of the American workforce. We continue to press forward in our military objectives. The Secretary and I remain deeply humbled by the spirit, tenacity, commitment, and grit of our 2.8 million member strong joint force. I want to, as always, thank the force and their families, and as always, remember our fallen. We carry with them and their names every day. Sir, I'll turn it back over to you.
That's right, Lady Wiser said double tap, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, Lady Wiser. Thank you, thank you.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. 2 things. He didn't note it, but in memory of Colonel Bud Anderson, the chairman himself flew his F-16 to honor him recently. And thank you for highlighting the defense industrial base, the arsenal of freedom. It's worth noting no one has rebuilt that defense industrial base faster and with more purpose than President Trump in his first term. And now we're rebuilding the arsenal of freedom. Our defense industrial base is more vibrant today than it's been since World War II and growing rapidly. Contrast that with Iran, whose defense industrial base is nearly completely destroyed. Their ability to reconstitute the weapons of war they're using now that they're hiding in underground facilities and attriting over time, their ability to rebuild that is negligible. And I think that contrast is an enduring legacy of this as well, right here.
Yo, is the defense industrial base, is that like a civilian engineer type of operation, or is that like solely military operation, like building the weapons and things of that nature? I don't know. Somebody in the chat let me know. I don't really know about that too much about that.
Time. We've had some signaling that the U.S. will retake control of the Strait of Hormuz. At that point, what military posture will be imposed to guarantee safe passage for our allies, deter our enemies, and demonstrate U.S. dominance in the region? And also, can you speak to how much America's adversaries, Russia, China, North Korea, how much they're supporting Iran's
Civilians,
war
okay,
machine
cool.
at this point with
Appreciate
arms and
that.
intelligence, and what we are militarily doing to punish the enemy coalition?
Somebody said
Appreciate both questions. On the Strait of Hormuz, there are many more vessels flowing through today than there were, as the president has arranged. The president's been clear to Iran, open it for business, or we have options, and we certainly do. And when you look at what the chairman laid out with the Navy industrial base, with coastal cruise missiles, with UAVs, with counter mine capabilities, we've been focused from the beginning on attriting and
appreciate
defeating
everybody for
those
answering that.
capabilities and limiting their options. There's lots we're doing as well, some of which is known, some of which is not known, to set the conditions. And I think the president was clear this morning in his truth that there are countries around the world who ought to be prepared to step up on this critical waterway as well. It's not just the United States Navy. Last time I checked, there was supposed to be a big bad Royal Navy that could be prepared to do things like that as well. So he's pointing out this is an international waterway that we use less than most, in fact, dramatically less than most. So the world ought to pay attention and be prepared to stand up. President Trump's been willing to do the heavy lifting on behalf of the free world to address this threat of Iran. It's not just our problem set going forward, even though we have done the lion's share of preparation to ensure that that strait will be open, which is an outcome the president's been very clear on. As far as Russia and China, we know exactly what they're doing, what they are or are not doing. We don't have to air publicly what all of that is, but where necessary, we're addressing it, we're mitigating it, or we're confronting it head on. I don't know if you have anything you want to add.
No, sir. I think you covered it.
Do you have any
Right
timeline for operability in the strait? Or?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. David Zier, Real America's Voice. And I witnessed that enthusiasm on the lines and our submarine builders and ironworks. It's unbelievable. But I just wanted to ask you, what's the status of the delivery of any hardened bunkers for additional protection for our troops? And without getting too specific, what kind of measures are we taking to protect some of the larger, more strategic aircraft like the Sentry and other?
Well, it's great question. I'll say what I witnessed where I went was a completely locked in discipline of bunker use and bunker improvement. So from the beginning, as we stated very clearly, the first thing we did was set up a defense and make sure our defensive capabilities were maxed out before any of this even started. That included
J Hood. Christy husband was a cross-dresser. It's crazy. I saw that earlier, J Hood. Yo, that comment is number one, bro.
fortifications as much as possible, but it also included
Oh my
disbursement.
gosh.
If all of our people are in one place, you could imagine why that's a big problem. So dispersing is part of that defeat. Alongside that disbursement is more and more bunkers. And I can tell you, talking to base commanders, talking to our allies in Israel, talking to others, rapidly fielding that and then improving those positions is a theater priority, no doubt, as are the air defenses. And the layered air defenses, it's not just Patriots and THAADs, it's fighters and defensive caps, it's other kinetic defeat systems, it's electronic warfare. So the defense of our troops and our assets is max. I will say on some of those other assets you talked about, air wings, airframes, there's some things adversaries are doing to provide info and intel that they shouldn't. We're aware of it. And ultimately we move things around and don't. One of the biggest principles you learn in the military is to not set patterns, predictable patterns, and so commanders are working hard to adjust in real time with those systems and make sure they're in the right places and not easily targetable. Jillian.
Thanks, Mr. Secretary. The U.S. and Iran appear right now publicly to disagree about whether there are these negotiations.
I mean, are we really not worried about the intelligence that Russia and China is providing Iran? Are we really not worried about that? Damn, we're that bad, chat. We're badass like that. Shout out to the military, man. We must be doing our thing. We're really not worried about two other powerful countries providing intel to Iran. Really? He just act like he's just not worried at all. Like he don't give a damn. They're making the adjustments. They're making the proper adjustments.
Negotiations ongoing. What impact does that have on military strategy? Does it have any bearing at all? And General, the president wrote yesterday that the U.S. might destroy Iran's electricity generating plants and oil wells. Those are his words before ending this operation. Is there a way to do either of those things without like seriously jeopardizing or seriously harming civilians?
So on the talks, I can tell you, having been with Steve and Jared and the vice president and Marco and many others yesterday, they are very real. They are ongoing. They're active, and I think gaining strength. And we appreciate that. As I said in my remarks, we would much prefer to get a deal. If Iran was willing to relinquish material they have and ambitions they have, open this, great. That's the goal. We don't want to have to do more militarily than we have to. But I didn't mean it flippantly when I said, in the meantime, we'll negotiate with bombs. Our job is to ensure that we compel Iran to realize that this new regime, this regime in charge, is in a better place if they make that deal. And so we'll continue. We're working hand in hand, but the primary effort is a deal. We want that deal to be accomplished if at all possible. If not.
Yeah, but I mean, they want a deal that Iran continued to say that it's an unrealistic deal. It's like they literally just, it's almost like Iran is saying basically the United States want them to give up their sovereignty completely. Like just give up everything that they have, their enrichment capabilities, their missile capabilities, their control of the strait. You know, they want Iran to just give up everything. Their entire they want Iran to just give up everything. Their entire capabilities, military capabilities, everything, right? Their entire sovereignty. So I don't know. Already lost midterms, so go for broke, baby. NATO consists of 32 countries.
Then we're prepared to continue.
Secretary, what happened at
Go ahead,
ISAF?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. We're always thinking about those considerations.
I didn't say they own the strait. I didn't say Iran owned the strait. I said they want them to give up the control of the strait. Because clearly, he just said they just need to open up the strait. So clearly Iran has their hand on the strait. They may not own it per se, but they have control of that motherfucker. That's for sure. They are controlling who comes in and out, literally.
And develop options to be able to mitigate those risks pursuant to the normal practices that we do in the military. So.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I know you slightly addressed this already, but just on the Strait of Hormuz, is opening the strait an essential objective to Operation Epic Fury, or is that the job of those other countries? And then secondly, without asking you to comment on things that you can't talk about, what is your message to Americans who love the president and strongly believe in him, but are very worried about this notion of boots on the ground?
Well, first on the Strait of Hormuz, our core objectives from this podium, from day one, from me, from the...
Tap that button, man. Tap that button like J Hood said, man. Tap that button. Let's see if we can get to 100 likes, man. We only been live for 48 minutes. We only been live for 48 minutes, so we 56 likes, 48 minutes. Let's keep the lights going up, man. Hit the like button. Let's go.
The chairman, from the president, from the vice president, from Secretary Rubio and others have been clear. Defense missile production and missile programs, so their entire missile program, defense industrial base and production ability to build, and Navy and power projection. So those have, and then of course, wrapping it all is Iran's never going to have a nuclear weapon. So those have been very clear. Defeating the Navy is a core part of ensuring they can't project that kind of power. But ultimately, I think the president's truth this morning lays that out very well.
Thank you,
That this Strait of Hormuz issue, which we've set the conditions for success, and we will make sure Iran knows that very clearly, is not just a United States of America problem set. We've been willing to lead. President Trump's led the entire time, but it's not just us. So ultimately, I think other countries should pay attention when the president speaks. He's proven that when he speaks, he means something, and he's pointing out, you might want to start learning how to fight for yourself. It's something some of us have been saying for quite some time. You can't just have flags, you have to have formations. You can't just have a few ships, you have enough to affect change. Those things matter in a dangerous world with ascendant adversaries. That's why the chairman's talking about our industrial base. That's why we're launching the Arsenal of Freedom tour to revive our defense industrial base. President Trump doing it in a way that nobody else has. As far as President Trump and boots on the ground, I don't understand why the base, which they have already, they understand, wouldn't have faith in his ability to execute on this. Look at his track record of pursuing peace through strength, America first outcomes. And what he's simply saying, and it's exactly true, and I've said from this podium too, we're not going to foreclose any option. You can't fight and win a war if you tell your adversary what you are willing to do or what you are not willing to do, to include boots on the ground. Our adversary right now thinks there are 15 different ways we could come at them with boots on the ground. And guess what? There are. So if we needed to, we could execute those options on behalf of the President of the United States and this department.
That boy Pete said he a badass, chat. Pete said he mean business. Pete is not playing any games, chat. He said we cannot allow the adversary to know exactly what we're doing, but if they think that we can put boots on the ground 15 different ways, then damn it, they correct. Damn it, they are correct. That goddamn Pete Hegseth said he is on it. He on it.
Or maybe we don't have to use them at all. Maybe negotiations work, or maybe there's a different approach. But the point is to be unpredictable in that. Certainly not let anybody know what you're willing to do or not do. But if anybody has internalized the lessons of Iraq and Afghanistan as the first one, President Trump, to call them out for what they are, he's not going to repeat those lessons. And I think I've been very clear about that from the podium. Yes.
Thank you, Secretary Hegseth. A question for you and then a question for General Kane.
Flaming said to revive our defense industrial base. Wasn't there a warning from a president about the industrial military complex? Flaming in there. Flaming, y'all. Yep. Yet Trump tweets exactly what his next escalatory target is.
You said we're a month into the Operation Epic Fury. How long until the objectives are achieved? And is there a scenario where a deal is struck before the objectives have been achieved? And then for General Kane, there's been lots of media coverage that suggested a ground invasion is imminent. What other purposes might the soldiers and the Marines who have been deployed over to the Middle East serve in this conflict?
Well, just like the previous question, it's sort of military 101. Don't tell your enemy what you're willing to do or not do, and don't tell your enemy when you're willing to stop, especially an enemy that likes to hide in bunkers and try to hoard their missiles and hope you'll wait you out.
Don't tell your enemies when you're willing to stop. Donald Trump has been telling y'all, he's been telling the American people every single week. This is a short-term excursion, right? He's been saying this is gonna last about 6 weeks, right? We've been in Iran now for what? A month and some change? We're on the 5th week right now. Y'all think we pulling out anytime soon? No. That 4 to 6 weeks is just what they're saying, bro. This conflict is about to go on for the rest of 2026. Y'all think it's gonna last the rest of the year? What do y'all think? How long y'all think this war will last? I think it's gonna last for the rest of the year, in my opinion. I think it's gonna last the rest of the year.
So that's not a question I'm going to answer or the president has said definitively, we have our own goals and guidance and things military objectives that we're moving toward and things that we look at. And as he's articulated, he's said 4 to 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, it could be any particular number, but we would never reveal precisely what it is because our goal is to finish those objectives. And we're well on our way. And the chairman and I look at this every single day. It will be the president's determination and the president's determination alone when those objectives are complete and when it serves the interest of the American people to cut that deal, to make sure that Iran doesn't have a nuclear capability and ultimately that our objectives, our interests are advanced. I don't know if you want to add anything.
No, just to answer your question, Reagan, the range of military options that those forces can offer are extensive, not just limited to what you mentioned in terms of forces on the ground. And I wouldn't want to take away the president's decision space, but there are a multitude of things, not the least of which is Iran should note that they're out there and that they are a pressure point, and so they should carefully consider, I think, at the diplomatic level, not my job as a chairman, but at the diplomatic level to consider what's in front of them.
Jerry.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, the U.S. government and IC assessed for many years that Iran is protecting Al-Qaeda senior leaders, including the current Emir Saif al-Idil. Does the U.S. assess that he's still in Iran? Has he fled to Afghanistan? Is he on a target list? And Mr. Chairman, based on CENTCOM figures and open source, Iranian daily missile barrages and drone launches have indeed dropped dramatically since the start of the war, but they're not at zero. And they seem to have maintained some level of low but stable numbers. Perhaps they've dropped a little bit more in recent days. How do we get that closer to zero? And what impact is Iran's degraded but still very real capability impacting current and future operations?
So I won't speak to a particular target. I'll just say that Al-Qaeda remains our enemy, obviously. And there are a lot of people on our target list in Iran. And if they were to be harboring Al-Qaeda, they would certainly fit that list.
Just quickly, the mobile targets that they have that we continue to service, as the Secretary talked about, the 200 hits that were done last night, that's one component of continuing to lower that. The second and more long-term impact that we're having is the strikes against their defense industrial base at scale, which will not allow them to reload after that. So we do continue to see it trend down. They are still shooting, and we do continue.
We're coming to a conclusion on this video, and then the next video is going to be featuring Marco Rubio, MR.
To exert significant pressure against both sides of that system.
Mr. Secretary, thank you for the question. Do you still believe, you said previously that the Iranian leadership would surrender? Do you still believe that? And is the United States still committed to NATO's collective defense? And to Chairman Kane, could you give us a sense of your thinking about the legality of striking desalinization plants if the president were to order that?
I will just say that any mission that ends on our terms, you want to call it a surrender, call it a defeat, call it what you want, we remain committed to a conflict that ends on our terms and the president's terms. There's no doubt about that. And as far as NATO is concerned, that's a decision that will be left to the president. But I'll just say a lot has been laid bare. A lot has been shown to the world about what our allies would be willing to do for the United States of America when we undertake an effort of this scope on behalf of the free world. These are missiles that don't even range the United States of America.
I can't really get with that, though, because like you're saying that we went into this on behalf of the free world, and the free world don't even want to help you. You mean to tell me that Spain, Germany, all these different places, bro, all these different countries, like they couldn't they wouldn't have the intelligence to recognize a threat of this magnitude, right? If they really believe that it was a threat. So are you doing this on behalf of the free world, or are you doing this on behalf of Israel? Which one, sir? Come on, chat. Come on now. It ain't that hard. It is not that hard. You doing this on behalf of the free world, or you doing this on behalf of Netanyahu? Netanyahu. Yeah, Netanyahu. I don't know. Hit that like button. We almost at 100, man. We almost at 100. I think this video is coming to a conclusion, guys. It is coming to a conclusion, but we're going to finish it out right here. I think you got about, I don't know, a few more minutes. And then we're going to switch over to Marco Rubio because he commented on the progress of this war. So.
Range allies and others, and yet when we ask for additional assistance or simple access basing and overflight, we get questions or roadblocks or hesitations. And the president's pointing out you don't have much of an alliance if you have countries that are not willing to stand with you when you need them. He's simply pointing that out. And ultimately, it'll be his decision of what that looks like after this is complete.
I'll just won't talk about any particular.
Say, you are stupid, Mr. Dom. I'm going to show you how stupid I am. Watch this. Let me show you how stupid I am. Don't come in here with ad hominems on me, because if I see it, I'm going to get your ass out of here for 86,000 seconds. That's 1,433 minutes. Come back tomorrow.
Target. This really builds on Jillian's question too that I don't think I completely answered, but you know, the joint force is the most professional force in the world, and we have numerous processes and system to carefully consider the whole range of considerations from civilian risk to legal considerations with any target. And as targets come before us, we run them through the same process that we always do and always strike lawful targets in accordance with the normal procedures that we use.
No quarter, no mercy for enemy combatants, as Hegseth has said.
For me?
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you. I appreciate it. On Sunday, President Trump said that Iran's first regime was all destroyed and the second one is mostly dead. And the third regime that we're on right now has been much more reasonable in negotiations. Do you agree with that assessment, and why?
I would defer to the negotiating team there. They're the ones talking to him, but they're getting a back and forth on terms, which is a productive development. We stand right there next to our negotiating team, always willing and prepared to put them in an even better position. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
Somebody said it don't matter who it was for. At the end of the day, they were a threat. Okay. Okay. They were a threat, huh? Okay. All right. They were a threat, he said. Okay. All right. They were a threat. Okay. Let's see here. Anyways, let's go to this article real quick. Damn, I thought I had the article pulled up. I did. Okay, here we go. All right, so let me just go here real quick. I don't know if you guys could actually see this article, but anyways, let's see here. Majority of Americans urge quick exit from Iran war. Poll. A recent Reuters poll revealed that 2/3 of Americans favor ending the U.S. involvement in Iran war swiftly, even if goals remain unmet. Rising gas prices and negative financial impacts concern many, while Republicans face pressure during the upcoming midterm elections. All right, so a Reuters poll has highlighted that a significant majority of Americans want the U.S. to disengage from the Iran conflict sooner rather than later, even at the cost of unfulfilled objectives set by the Trump administration. All right, so let's get back. I don't know if you guys can actually see that. Why is it not showing on the screen the way I want it to show on the screen? Give me a second. Let me make sure this is actually positioned right. So let me see if this is actually positioned right. All right, let me do this. I gotta zoom in just a little bit more. Boom. All right, there we go. I think you guys can see that. Let me know how that goes. Get well soon. Somebody gotta get well soon. All right, did that change? Let me know if that changed. Come on, screen. God damn. There we go. I think you guys can see that better. Here we go. That's a lot better. Yep, that's a lot better. All right. So let me get back into this article real quick. Uh, so, uh, The survey conducted over a weekend showed that 66% of participants advocated for a swift end, compared to 27% who supported achieving all goals regardless of prolonged engagement. The war toll the war's toll on the Middle East and global economics has notably impacted U.S. gas prices, now soaring past $4 a gallon. And that's what J Hud put in the chat earlier. J Hud, you put that in the chat earlier about the $4. Gas prices are soaring past $4 on average. So, with midterm elections on the horizon, Republicans, led by President Trump, face a challenging political climate amid rising public discontent over the war's financial burdens. All right. Uh, More than half of the survey respondents foresee a negative impact on their personal finances due to the ongoing conflict. Okay. So 2/3 of Americans want this war to end, chat. 2/3 of Americans want this war to end. It's almost $5 in Illinois. Wow. What it do, Sterling? Sterling, shout out to my moderator, my homeboy Sterling in the building, man. Shout out to Sterling in the building. What's happening? Now they're learning Congress is their reason. Okay, at least blah 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 blah. Okay, okay. Still fighting hard for the midterms, huh? $7+ in San Fran's. I believe that. I believe that for sure. All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the next video right here. We'll get into Marco Rubio. He had a message to put out
Many
there about
Americans
this.
are asking why.
He had a message to put out about this mission, and so he's gonna let us know and give us an update on what's happening right here, right now. $7 is crazy. Shout out to B Angel in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Conservatives, liberals, whatever you are, progressive, Republican, whatever you are, man. Shout out to y'all in the chat, man. For y'all, having fun and agreeing to disagree, not being disrespectful. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We're 76 likes, man. So go ahead and get the likes up. Let's get into the video. Here we go. Marco Rubio right here giving us an update right now. I think this is from day one. The mission was crystal clear, so he's going to let us know what the mission was. Let's listen to Marco Rubio.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now? Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero doubt. If what they truly wanted, which is what they claim, is nuclear energy, well, they could have nuclear energy like all the other countries in the world have it. And that is, you import the fuel and you build reactors above ground. That's not what Iran has done. They build their reactors and their facilities deep in mountains, away from the public glare. And they want to enrich that material. The same equipment that they could use to enrich material for energy, they could use to quickly enrich it to weapons grade. So it is clear that they've been offered every opportunity to have a nuclear program that allows them to have energy, not weapons. And every single time they have turned it down. But why the attack now? Well, what was Iran trying to do? Iran was trying to build a conventional shield, in essence, have so many missiles, have so many drones that no one could attack them, and they were well on their way. We were on the verge of an Iran that had so many missiles and so many drones that no one could do anything about their nuclear weapons program in the future. That was an intolerable risk. Under no circumstances can a country run by radical Shia clerics with an apocalyptic vision of the future.
Oh my gosh. An apocalyptic vision of the future? Really, bro? Is this what they're doing? Is this really what they're saying, bro? Wow. Really, bro? Really? They want to wipe out everybody? Come on, Marco. I don't believe that. Come on.
That was an intolerable risk.
Hold
Under no
on.
circumstances, no
Hold
one could
on.
do anything about their nuclear weapons program in the future. That was an intolerable risk.
Bro, an apocalyptic vision for the future? That's true though, really, Chris? Bro, y'all believe it, bro. Come on, man. Marco Rubio is awesome, man. Marco Rubio is controlled opposition, bro. He was just hating on Trump just a week ago. I mean, just a decade ago, right? He was just calling Trump a con man, saying that he conned so many people with Trump University. He was just saying that this man should never be the president. Blah 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 blah. Man, Marco Rubio is fake, bro. He ain't no. He is not awesome. Come on, he has no integrity, bro. Marco Rubio has no integrity. He don't stand on business, man. He flip flop, man. As soon as he got an opportunity to work for this administration and make more money, he flip flop. He changed his position. So I don't know how you think Marco Rubio is awesome, bro. He fake as hell. Fake as hell.
Under no circumstances can a country run by radical Shia clerics with an apocalyptic vision of the future ever possess nuclear weapons.
Get your bitch ass off my Texas Pete. Get your ass on. Boom, Texas Pete. Let's see if you could type in my chat again, Texas Pete. Since you want to use the N word, let's see if you could type in my chat again, Texas Pete. Everybody say bye bye, Texas Pete. Bye bye, Texas Pete.
Weapons, and under no circumstances can they be allowed to hide and protect that program and their ambitions behind a shield of missiles and drones that no one can do anything about. This was our last best chance to eliminate that conventional threat.
No, it's a sign of no integrity. It's a sign of why would you change your mind and work for a con man? You call this man every single name under the sun. Every single name under the sun, right? You said he did all of this foul shit, and you say it's a sign of intelligence to change your mind and work for a con man, a man who wronged so many people, right? You just knew this. Come on, bro. Get your ass out of here, bro. It's a sign of no integrity. That's what it's. That's a sign. You ain't fooling me.
That conventional shield that they were trying to build, and the president made the right decision to wipe it out now. That is the goal of this operation, to destroy their conventional missiles.
Wait, hold on. He said that's a sign of intelligence, y'all. Watch this. That's a sign of intelligence. Watch this, y'all. Watch this. He said it's a sign of intelligence. Let's see if it's a sign of intelligence. Hold on.
Blue Chew Gold.
Watch this, y'all. Let's see if it's a sign of intelligence or a sign of no integrity. Which one is it?
Only one combining.
Florida Senator Marco Rubio is with us now from Houston. Senator, good morning.
Good morning.
Did someone hit the panic button last night?
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it. And part of it is, look at the report you guys just did. Donald Trump last night had no answers on the issue of health care, and if you look,
Donald Trump is a con man. He had no answers on the issues of health care. Come on, Marco Rubio, let us know what he was talking about. Come on.
Listen to that report that just led into this. The media is pumping him up as some sort of unstoppable force. Donald Trump has portrayed himself now consistently as fighting for the working people, and he has a record of sticking it to working people for 35 years.
He has a record of sticking it to the working people for 35 years.
If any other candidate in this race had his record, there would be nonstop reporting on it. But unfortunately, he's being pumped up because many in the media with a bias know that he'll be easy to beat in a general election. So we're going to put a stop to it now. There is no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over.
A con artist. For 35 years. He's been sticking it to the people for 35 years. But it's a sign of intelligence to admit that you're wrong, right? No, you believe this so strongly. You believe this strongly and wholeheartedly that this man is a con artist. You know for a fact he is.
Over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist.
So what do you think a Trump government would look like, Senator?
It would be chaos.
No way, Marco. No way.
No one knows, but it would look probably like the positions he's held for all these years on many of these issues. He is wholly unprepared to be president of the United States. He refuses to answer questions on any specific public policy. He has no plan for health care, for example. They asked him about the debt. He claimed he's going to cut the debt by cutting fraud and abuse, which everyone acknowledges. And he didn't get any follow-up or any press on that, and nobody pressed him on that afterwards. I tried to get the moderators to ask him about it. This is the most important government job on the planet. We're about to turn over the conservative movement to a person that has no ideas of any substance on the important issues, the nuclear codes of the United States, to an erratic individual. Yeah. And the conservative movement to someone who has spent a career sticking it to working people.
Please let us.
Oh, man. Controlled opposition, bro. controlled opposition. Anyways, let's get into some more videos, guys. We ain't gonna continue that. Let's get into some more videos right here, right now. We're gonna talk about this. We're gonna see. Do I want to go ahead and get into? Uh, okay, yeah. Marco Rubio. We're gonna get into Marco Rubio again, but he just did a interview with Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera, I believe that's a news outlet out of Qatar, I believe.
Home
Qatar.
cooks, you deserve.
Hit the like button on the way in, guys. We're almost at 100 likes. We are almost at 100 likes, guys. Let's go.
Rubio, thank you for talking to Al Jazeera. You're speaking to a global audience across Al Jazeera English, Al Jazeera Arabic, and our digital platforms, reaching viewers across the Middle East, including Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, and Iran, as well as millions more around the world. Let me start by asking you this. Have formal talks begun with Iran, or are these still in direct communications, exploring common ground?
Well, there's messages and some direct talks going on between some inside of Iran and the United States, primarily through intermediaries, but there's been some conversation. And I think the president always prefers diplomacy, always prefers an outcome. And we could have done this before. I mean, imagine an Iranian regime who, instead of spending billions of dollars supporting terrorist groups and building up all these weapons, had invested that money into Iran for the people of Iran, so they wouldn't have water shortages, so their economies would provide opportunities for an
Ryan said, I went to high school with this young man. He's a good guy. Give him a like and a follow. Ryan, Ryan, where you? I went to high school with this young. Ryan, you went to high school with me? Ryan. Really, Ryan?
incredible people. The people of Iran are
Shout out to Next Man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I appreciate all of y'all, man. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, man.
incredible people, very resourceful, very entrepreneurial, but it's their regime that's been a problem. And instead, they've chosen to spend the wealth of their country to support Hezbollah and Hamas and Shia militias inside of Iraq, and to try to destabilize Syria when Assad was there. And all over the world to sponsor terrorist plots and build these drones and build these weapons to threaten their neighbors unnecessarily. So we would always welcome a scenario in which Iran was led by people that had a different view of the future and had a different view. And if that opportunity presents itself, we're going to take it.
What are your main demands for Iran at this particular stage of the war?
Iran can never, the Iranian regime can never have nuclear weapons, and they need to stop sponsoring terrorism, and they need to stop building.
I don't think that though. I don't believe that though. Rubio, missiles launched by Iran have one purpose: to attack Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain. I don't think their one purpose is to attack their neighbors. I don't think that's their purpose. Why would they just create chaos and attack their neighbors? I think they said that they are attacking those areas because they have U.S. bases there, or those areas are allowing the U.S. military to utilize the ground there. So I don't know, Rubio, about that one. I don't know. I don't know about that one, Rubio. I don't think that's their one purpose. I disagree.
Building weapons that can threaten their neighbors. These short-range missiles that they're launching, they only have one purpose, and that is to attack Saudi Arabia and the UAE and Qatar and Kuwait and Bahrain. That is the range of these weapons.
But I thought their one purpose was to attack the United States, because you guys said that they posed an imminent threat to to U.S. soil. I thought that was their one purpose. Now their one purpose is to attack their neighbors. Interesting.
And they have thousands of them. They've built extraordinary numbers of them.
I really believe Marco Rubio is a good guy, Chad. I really believe, because he's a horrible liar. You know, he's a horrible liar. But I really believe Marco Rubio is a he's just caught up in some wickedness right now. But he's a good guy. But he's learning to be a liar. But I don't think he's a liar. I don't think he's a liar, but I think he's learning to be a liar, if that makes sense. And he's not good at it.
And not to mention, their desire to have this nuclear weapon to threaten and blackmail the world with. That will never be allowed to happen. It's too great a risk.
What would you consider to be the minimum concession from Tehran to bring this conflict to an end?
I think they have to take demonstrable steps towards ending any ambition of having nuclear weapons. If what they want is nuclear energy, there are multiple countries in the region that have or will soon have nuclear energy, and they're going to do it through a well-established mechanism that everyone else has agreed to, and that is that you allow imported fuel you import the fuel, and that fuel is used to power up your power grid and provide energy resources for your people. What they cannot have is a system that allows them to quickly weaponize it. They have to stop making all of these drones and all of these missiles. We saw recently where they've lied. They said they didn't have long-range missiles, and then they fired 2 that extended well beyond the range of what their own foreign minister just a few days earlier said they didn't have the range to reach. So they have to abandon all these weapon programs and all of their nuclear ambitions. And if they do that, then Iran's future can be bright. But they have to choose that path, and for 47 years they've refused that path.
Iran said it rejects the US demands and is setting its own conditions, such as the financial compensation and also recognition of its sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. Are those demands acceptable from an American perspective?
Not only is the sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz not acceptable to us, it won't be acceptable to the world. No one in the world can accept it. Number one, it sets an incredible precedent. So this means that nations can now take over international waterways and claim them as their own. The United States could do that now. The Chinese could do it in the South China Sea. No one in the world is going to accept that or should accept that. Now, let me be frank, very little of American energy comes through the Straits of Hormuz in terms of the energy we rely on, but we recognize the impact that it has on global markets and on our neighbors.
Well, I mean, what is very little though? What percentage of the energy do we acquire from the Strait of Hormuz? I don't know that number. Let me see if I can see what percentage of energy. Damn, is my G stuck? What percentage of energy do the US acquire from the Strait of Hormuz? Very little. Uh, do we require any of it? Uh, I don't know how much energy do we require from it, if any. They said it's a very small percentage. Anybody a Strait of America? None. He said it's a very small number that we acquire from it. So I just want to see if we actually get what percentage that is. Somebody said none. 6%, 25%, 5%. Well, right now we are on the EIA.gov, Energy Information Administration. I don't think this was updated. So it looks like China. China was getting up in 2023. China was getting up to 4 million barrels per day. By destination. Only Saudi Arabia and the UAE have operating pipelines that can circumvent the Strait of Hormuz. Saudi Aram, Aramco operates the 5 million barrel east-west crude oil pipeline and temporarily expanded the pipe's capacity to 7 million barrels per day in 2019 when it converted some natural gas liquid pipelines to accept crude oil. The UAE leaks its onshore oil fields to the Fujairah export terminal on the Gulf of Oman with a 1.5 million barrel per day pipeline. I don't see anything on the United States though. We estimate, let me see here. We estimate that 82% of the crude oil and condensate that move Damn, this shit is small. That moved through the Strait of Hormuz went to Asia market in 2022. China, India, Japan, and South Korea were the top destination for crude oil moving through the Strait of Hormuz to Asia, accounting for 67% of all Hormuz crude oil flows. Okay. I wonder if I can get something. I don't know if I can get anything on that. Chat GPT. No, that ain't Chat GPT. That ain't Chat GPT. What are you talking about? Export imports. See if I can find natural gas plant liquid export reached record high in 2025. U.S. export. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna have to look into this later, guys. I'm gonna have to look into this stuff later. You guys, I don't know. You guys was giving different percentages, so I'm gonna look into this later and see what I can find. Somebody said 25%. Somebody said 5%. Somebody said 6%. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look up and find this stuff later.
Especially our allies in the region who produce energy and have to get it out to market. So no country in the world should accept it. The regional countries in the world should accept it. The United States will not accept that condition. It's an illegal condition that they're demanding. That's just not going to happen.
As the US-Israeli campaign continues, there's no clear indication that the Strait of Hormuz is secure enough to restart the flow of oil and gas into global markets. Are you consider a plan to?
Chris said Hormuz, Aramco, condensate. Some words you need to work on. Yeah, Chris, you right, bro. You right. I need to work on those. I need to work on that, bro. Real talk.
To ensure full control over the entire strait?
Well, the Straits of Hormuz will be open. When this operation is over, it will be open, and it'll be open one way or another. It will be open because Iran agrees to abide by international law and not block a commercial waterway, or a coalition of nations from around the world and the region, with the participation of the United States, will make sure that it's open. One way or the other, it's going to be open. But we have very clear objectives that we're trying to achieve here. Those objectives are the destruction of their Air Force, which has been achieved, the destruction of their Navy, which has largely been achieved, a significant reduction in the number of missile launchers that they have, which we're well on our way to achieving, and we are going to destroy the factories that make those missiles and those drones that they are using to attack their neighbors and the United States and our presence in the region. We will achieve those objectives. We are well on our way, or ahead of schedule. We will achieve them in weeks, not months. And then we'll be confronted with this issue of the Straits of Hormuz, and it'll be up to Iran to decide. And if they choose to try to block the straits, then they will have to face real consequences, not just from the United States, but from regional countries and from the world.
Thank you for subscribing to the channel, guys. Thank you. Somebody just subscribed. Thank you.
Regional allies in the region, the
registration is now open. Contract manufacturing.
Critical energy installations are being bombed. The cities bombed almost on a daily basis, and they're looking for a clear path back to stability. What would be your message to them?
Well, I think the best way to stability, given the people who are in charge in Iran, is to destroy the ability of Iran in the future to launch these missiles and these drones against their infrastructure and civilian populations. If you think about what they've struck in the region, what has Iran gone after? It's been energy infrastructure against countries that were not waging war against them, but yet they went after these countries nonetheless. This is why they built these missiles and drones in the first place. But they've also attacked embassies, diplomatic facilities, which is unheard of. They've attacked airports, which is unheard of. This is what they've done. And this is a weakened Iran. This is an Iran that's weaker than it's been in 10 years. Imagine 5 years from now or 3 years from now, when they had more missiles, more drones, what they would have been willing to do to their neighbors and to us. That was
But I don't like how he's not giving the context or why they're sending those missiles at these different places. I mean, they were truthfully and truth be told, they were attacked first. We definitely went in and attacked them first. Israel, United States went in and attacked them first. And so when you set up shop at these different places in their neighboring countries, right? You set up shop in there in these hotels or in these different areas in Qatar or Kuwait or whatever on these bases, they're gonna shoot missiles at you. They're gonna fight back. I mean, what do we expect? But he's given this understanding, or he's given this, these statements as if they're just firing off missiles, with no objective, with no purpose. They just firing them off any and everywhere and just shooting everything that has nothing to do with we we're actually bombing them. They're just firing. I don't know. It just comes off as disingenuous sometimes, man. Like there's not a war going on. They're just shooting missiles.
Intolerable. That's why this needed to be done now. The United States is committed to finishing the job. We're working very closely with all of our allies, work very closely in defensive. Yes, unfortunately, drones and missiles get through from time to time, but the overwhelming majority of these launches are defeated. They're shot down before they reach their intended target, or the destruction would be far worse. These are strong, stable countries in the region. These are our allies. These are our friends. And we are going to continue to be there and support them as they face this onslaught. And by the way, they're not the ones, Iran is targeting them in retribution, which tells you the nature of the people we're dealing with, unfortunately.
But it seems that the Strait of Hormuz is not going to be the only focal point for you, because with the Houthis stepping in and firing missiles into Israel, Bab el-Mandeb and the Red Sea could become issues that you will have to reconsider.
It could, and look, that's been an ongoing issue. And when they did that, the United States took action against it as well, and many of our regional allies have had to do so in the past. It's the desire, whether it's the Houthis on one side or Iran on the other, to close these international waterways and create a toll road where basically you have to ask for their permission in order to use them and get your products in or out of market. That's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to us, but it should be unacceptable to the world. And I think it's important, and I'm glad to see the effort Bahrain is leading in the United Nations, which we've been very supportive of, to get an international coalition that says we will not accept a world and where either the Iranians on one side or the Houthis on the other get to control international waterways and impede the free flow of goods from nation states. That's just not something we're going to accept, neither should the world.
Do you have any issues with Mujtaba Khamenei staying in power once this is over, and the IRGC continuing to play the crucial role it plays now?
Well, let me say, first of all, we don't even know if he's in power. I know they say he's in power. No one has seen him. No one has heard from him. It's very opaque right now. It's not quite clear how decisions are being made inside of Iran. But our objectives here from the very beginning had nothing to do with the leadership. But would we love to see a difference? Do we think the people of Iran deserve better leadership than what they've gotten from the clerical regime? 100%. Would we be heartbroken if there was a change in leadership? Absolutely not. If there's something we could do to facilitate that, would we be interested in participating? Of course. But that was not the objective of this operation. The objective of this operation was, which I outlined now and the president outlined clearly on the first night, is the destruction of their Air Force, which we've achieved, the destruction of their Navy, which we've largely achieved, the destruction of their factories, which we are well on our way to achieving, meaning factories that make these weapons, and significantly reducing the number of missile launchers that they have so they can't continue to threaten their neighbors and America. Those were our objectives.
Which the main objective would in turn be regime change. Right? You can't do all that without, I mean, you have to do all of that to cause a regime change. If you actually really want to change the regime, you're gonna destroy everything. So that's your main objective. That's Israel's main objective. Is regime change. That's what you want.
That's what we're focused on, and that's what we are well on our way towards achieving.
Are you fully aligned with the Israelis when it comes to the objectives and the end game?
Well, they have a different objective in terms of they are focused on the mid-range missiles in the northern part of Iran that target them. And obviously we coordinate and deconflict with them in terms of our operations. But what they are focused on is different. We're not critical of it. Those things are threats to them. Those mid-range missiles that Iran launches that reach into Israel, those are threats that they're facing. They're also facing a threat from Hezbollah, which they're confronting as well. So they have their own objectives. We deconflict so that our objectives and theirs don't run into each other. But the president has, for the United States of America, has established a very clear mission, which we're executing on, and we will achieve our objectives in a matter of weeks.
Do you believe the EU and NATO countries betrayed the US at this crucial moment?
I think it was very disappointing. You have this, and again, look, the president and our country will have to re-examine all of this after this operation is over. But one of the reasons why NATO is beneficial to the United States is it gives us basing rights for contingencies. It allows us to station troops and aircraft and weapons and in parts of the world that we would normally have bases, and that includes in much of Europe. And to see that in a time of need, the United States has identified a grave risk to our national security and our national interests, and we needed to conduct this operation. And we have countries like Spain.
I'm not Nigerian, I'm not African at all. I am an American, United States citizen since 1991 when I was born. Go figure.
A NATO member that we are pledged to
I know y'all hate to hear that, but it's the truth.
defend, denying us the use of their airspace and bragging about it, denying us the use of their bases. And there are other countries that have done that as well. And so you ask yourself, well, what is in it for the United States? And I've been a big supporter of NATO. And one of the reasons why I've been a supporter of NATO is because I believe that these basing rights give us leverage and give us flexibility and operational capability all over the world. But if NATO is just about us defending Europe if they're attacked, but them denying us basing rights when we need them, that's not a very good arrangement. That's a hard one to stay engaged in and say this is good for the United States. So all of them's going to have to be re-examined. All of it's going to have to be re-examined.
I've recently spent some time in Europe, and basically what they say is that it's the US which is sending confusing messages to us. It's the US which is planning to disengage from Europe. It's the US which doesn't seem to be really willing to team up with NATO when it comes to moving forward in Europe. And this explains the reason why we have been very cautious dealing with the Americans when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz in particular.
Well, if that's what someone in Europe told you, that person's very disingenuous, because the United States has tens of thousands of troops stationed throughout that region, billions of dollars of weaponry staged throughout Europe. All of it there to defend Europe, not to defend America, to defend Europe from attack. Okay, all over. The United States is without the United States, there is no NATO. I mean, everyone recognizes that, including NATO. If we decided tomorrow that we were going to remove our troops from Europe, that would be the end of NATO. So they know that. And that commitment, that we haven't moved troops out of NATO. So anyone who said that's not being honest or is not, I think they're playing games. At the end of the day, it's very simple. NATO is an alliance, and an alliance means it has to be mutually beneficial. It cannot be a one-way street. Let's hope we can fix it. We'll have time to address it after. Right now, we're focused on this operation.
Let's move on to something else. I would like to talk to you about Venezuela after the capture of President Nicolas Maduro. Could you tell us more about your plans for Venezuela in the future?
I think it's moving along very well. We said it from the very first day after that operation happened. I said our hope is, number one, to stabilize the country. We didn't want to see civil war. We didn't want to see systemic collapse. We didn't want to see a mass migration event. You've seen none of these things. What you've seen is that for the first time in decades, Venezuela is now selling their oil in the global market at full market price, and the money is coming back to Venezuela and being spent for the benefit of the Venezuelan people. It's being spent to buy medical goods and equipment. It's being spent to cover the salaries of teachers and police officers and civil servants and people that sanitation workers and things of this nature. So it's a very important part. The second phase, after the stabilization occurs, or concurrent with the
Is that what happened in Venezuela right now? So we're taking care. We're making sure Venezuelans are spending their money wisely, paying their teachers, taking care of everything, taking care of their civilians in Venezuela. Is that true? Is that what happened when we delegated those funds out? Why is the money in the private account in Qatar? I hope Rubio runs for president. I'll vote for that, man. JD is cool, but Rubio is the most well-spoken politician, and he seemed to really know his stuff. Rubio, maybe all countries are just grabbing power, then the only choice is which country allows us to have the most freedom to be ourselves. Is that Iran, China, Russia, USA? You got to choose.
stabilization is a period of recovery in which you try to recover the elements of the country that allow it to prosper and grow, and that is attracting businesses back, creating the kind of stability that bring businesses back. We're seeing that begin to happen. But you're also seeing civil life come back to life. Independent media is now allowed to operate. Political prisoners have been released. Political parties are forming again. People are speaking and participating in public life. And finally, you want to see a full transition, because in order for Venezuela to fulfill its economic potential, it has to have a stable democratic government that people are willing to invest in that economy because they know that they're protected by laws and courts and legitimacy. So we are well on our way to achieving this. A lot of credit goes to the interim authorities who have assumed this responsibility. We've reopened our embassy. We enter in dialogue with them every single day. We feel very positive about it.
Many assume Washington will focus on Cuba next once the war is over in the Middle East. What kind of decisions or policy would you like to see in place for potential regime change?
Yeah, look, we don't need anything from Cuba, to be honest with you. I mean, Cuba needs from us, we don't need from Cuba. What I mean by Cuba, I mean it's their regime. The problem Cuba has, it's a very fundamental problem, and they need to understand it, and we've tried to explain it to anyone who will listen. Their system doesn't work. Their system of economics, I can't even describe it, but it's completely dysfunctional. It's just not a real system. And you can't change it unless you change the government. As an example, a week ago they said, well, Cuban Americans can now invest on the island. Invest in what? Invest in a country that has arbitrary laws, no established system of courts and justice. Who's going to invest in something like that? You also can't have economic prosperity without some significant level of political freedom. If I'm going to participate in the economic life of a country and I don't like the regulations or the rules that government is putting in place that are hampering me, I have to have the ability to complain about that. And in that country, you can't complain about that or you'll be put in jail. So I think Cuba needs to make, and if Cuba really wants to emerge from the hole they've put themselves in, meaning the regime has put them in, they really need to undertake very serious reforms of both their government and of their economy. And if they're willing to do so, we're going to help them. We've done nothing punitive against the Cuban regime. They claim we have, but we haven't. The only thing that's changed for the Cuban regime is they're not getting free Venezuelan oil anymore. They're not getting subsidies anymore. That's the only thing that's changed. These blackouts that are occurring that I see people reporting have nothing to do with us. They were having blackouts last year. They're having blackouts because they have equipment from the 1950s in their grid that they've never maintained and never upgraded because they're incompetent. That's why they're having blackouts.
Damn. He said they having blackouts ain't got nothing to do with the United States. It ain't got nothing to do with Venezuela oil. It ain't got nothing to do with that the energy. It got everything to do with their equipment. They got 1950 equipment and they're incompetent. Damn. Marco Rubio just went in on Cuba, but guys, we got about 20 more minutes. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I've been live for an hour and 40, and I plan on making this a two-hour live at the most. So we're gonna go ahead and move on right here to the next video. We're gonna move on to the next video. All right, you guys can watch that video on Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera. It's a Qatar platform, but you guys can go finish that video right there if you like. And so we're going to move on and listen to the Prime Minister in Iran. He came back out and did an exclusive interview. If I can find it. Where is it located? Here we go. Here we go, right here, guys.
2 head shavers and 1 ultimate winner. Which one gives the closest and smoothest shave? Let's find out. Always.
Let's see what Iran has to say about what's happening thus far. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. I appreciate each and every one of you for subscribing to the channel. All right. It's so do the research before believing, but of course you won't. Blah blah blah. How dare they not owe us? All right. So America has been dumping blah blah blah. Oh, dumping on Cuba for decades, but that's Cuba's fault, right? We lived with a massive Cuban population in Florida for decades. Our state sandwich is the Cuban, right? All right. All right. All right. Here we go. Let's get into the this video right here.
Dr. Abbas Araghchi, Foreign Minister of Iran. Thank you for talking to Al Jazeera.
Oh, Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera. Okay, I got it.
Your Excellency, there is a U.S. perspective stating that the negotiations are ongoing and that Iran has accepted the American conditions. What is your assessment of this Iranian position? How do you view it?
Negotiation in the literature of international relations has a specific meaning. 2 countries sitting face to face, negotiating. Such a situation does not currently exist between the United States and us. However, countries sometimes exchange messages through other countries. This is not called negotiation, and this is what currently exists between Iran and the United States. We receive messages from the American side, some are direct, and others come through our friends in the region. Wherever necessary, we respond to them. Therefore, there is currently no negotiation between us. Claims made in this regard are not correct. The exchange of messages, which sometimes includes warnings from our side or points from the other side, is ongoing, but it is not a negotiation.
You mentioned now the exchange of messages.
He said it ain't no negotiation. They basically just sending threats to each other through the through the neighbors or through different intermediaries. They ain't negotiating on nothing. They just sending warnings to each other. That's it. Ain't no negotiations happening at all. At all. That's what Iran is saying.
Directly. What do you mean by that? If there is communication with American entities or not? Or is it still the same exchange taking place through intermediaries?
تبادل از طریق واسطه ها جریان داره.
The exchanges through intermediaries are ongoing. Mr. Witkoff, as before, continues to send messages, but this does not mean negotiation. Rather, it means the exchange of messages that continues in conditions of peace and war.
There is talk within the U.S. administration that discussions are taking place with a certain party in Iran. Is there indeed a party, other than the known official channels, that is negotiating with the United States? And does this imply a division or fragmentation within Iran's political system at this moment?
نه اصلا به نظر من اینها صحت نداره.
None of this has any accuracy. All messages are through the official channels of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is aware of them. Security services usually have contacts. Some are also conducted through those channels, but all take place within a specific framework established by the government and under the supervision of the SNSC. There is a single management in charge of all of this. There is absolutely no issue of multiple directions existing. Everything is under the management of the Supreme National Security Council.
The U.S. President has stated that you have responded to the 15 American demands. What do you say to that?
We have not yet responded to the 15-point U.S. proposal. No response has been given.
At the same time, you mentioned that you presented 5 conditions to the mediators. Has there truly been a response to these conditions? How does the United States view them?
From our side, no condition or clause has been presented to the other side. Those 5 conditions, or the 15-point framework mentioned, were based on media speculation. There are speculations, and this is the media's work. Nothing has been given to the American side from our side.
Where do the negotiations currently stand? Can we genuinely speak of progress, or does the situation remain complex on both sides?
We have yet to make a decision. We have many considerations regarding this matter. Our conditions for ending the war are clear. We do not accept a ceasefire. We are seeking an end to the war, not only in Iran but across the entire region. We seek guarantees that such aggressions will not be repeated, as well as the payment of compensation for the extent of the damages inflicted on us and on the people of Iran.
They want reparations. They said they will not accept a ceasefire, but they want the United States to get the hell out the region. They want the United States to stop the aggressions, and they want the United States to pay reparations for the damages that they've done thus far. That is what Iran is demanding. They said they want you to pay. They want your ass to get gone, get up out of our country, and also make sure you pay us when you leave.
At present, there is no ground for negotiation, and at present, there is no negotiation. Our position is clear, and at present, there is no ground for negotiation.
How can we talk about progress in negotiations? You have indicated that there is currently no common ground for negotiations. What is the basis or foundation you seek to enter negotiations with the United States?
Naturally, when the highest leadership of the Islamic Republic concludes that the interests of the Iranian nation will be preserved, the necessary instructions will be issued to institutions including the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Our goal is to secure the interests of the
You said Iran already lost. So what? They being prideful right now? You think their ego is getting the best of them? Surely, if they already lost, they would just surrender. You think they just gonna go out with a bang? Nope, people of Iran want you gone. All right.
Iranian people and to preserve their rights. This is the goal of the Islamic Republic of Iran, and at present, this goal is being pursued through defense against a foreign enemy, specifically the United States and the Zionist regime. Whenever it becomes necessary for this defense to be carried out through another means, the necessary instructions will naturally be issued.
There are suggestions of concern or caution that another attack on Iran could occur during negotiations. Is this fear of a potential U.S. attack? What is currently preventing you from engaging in negotiations?
Of course, the assault is currently ongoing, but your point is correct. We have no good experience of negotiating with the United States. In the past, we negotiated and reached an agreement, only for the United States to withdraw from it for no reason. Twice more, this year and last year, we negotiated, and the result was their assault and attack. There is no trust that negotiation with the United States can lead to results. Trust is at zero. Every time they present a proposal for negotiation, the first issue we must examine is how honest they are, and we see none. There is no trust, and to build trust, major steps must be taken. Whether the Islamic Republic...
Somebody said this guy does look broken. True. This guy been looking the same since day one. This guy been looking the same since he first came out. His first speech into this war. He's been looking the exact same way.
decides to do so or not is another matter. But in response to any proposal, the issue is how much trust exists. At present, no trust exists.
You spoke about guarantees, specifically that you seek assurances that a war against Iran will not be repeated. Can mediating countries such as Pakistan, Egypt, and Turkey serve as guarantors in these negotiations? Are there serious efforts underway?
Eric said Iran been around since before Jesus. Facts. Persia been around for a while, man. Long time, man.
To bring Iranians and Americans together for negotiations to resolve this conflict and the war.
Another serious issue is what guarantees can be provided. Naturally, the guarantee of one or two countries cannot be sufficient. Even experience has shown us that a guarantee by the Security Council cannot be sufficient either. Ideas and proposals have been put forward by our friends regarding how guarantees can be secured for a complete and lasting end to the war. These ideas have been conveyed to us, and we are examining what could serve as a guarantee if one day the war were to end on Iran's terms.
What guarantees are you requesting independently of what intermediaries convey? What are the specific guarantees Iran seeks to end the war and prevent its recurrence?
There are various ideas. I do not want to go into these ideas because there is still no basis for negotiation for us to put forward a proposal on this matter. But if we ever become confident that there is intent and will to end the war, we will discuss these proposals as well.
Iran said they standing on business, man. They standing on business, man. That's what Iran said. They are standing on business. All right, so let's see what's going on right here real quick. All right, so we're going to end it with this video right here. 3 unavailable videos are hidden. Where is that video that I was looking for? Did they really take that away from my current news, bro? I ain't gonna worry about it. I ain't gonna worry about it, bro. 3 unavailable Hidden videos. Really, bro? Alright, guys.
Don't settle for less. Here's what others are doing to fix missing and broken teeth. The company everyone has been raving about is called New.
All right, everyone, we are now going to go out to New Jersey. President Trump making some statements. Let's listen in.
Rwanda, you know all about Rwanda, and the Congo will be doing a peace settlement, probably coming in on Monday or Tuesday. We're going to be signing it up, and we've stopped a very vicious war. So that was an honor for me to be involved. I want to thank J.D. Vance for a great job, and also our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has done a fantastic job. So Rwanda, long-term war with the Congo, a very bloody war. They're all bloody, but this was a really bloody one, is going to be making peace with Congo, and they can get on to making trade deals with the United States and other places and have a much more normal form of life. We're very honored by that. As you know, we did a very great job with India and Pakistan, and we had India in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with India. And we had Pakistan in. It looks like we're going to be making a trade deal with Pakistan. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. Serbia, Kosovo, likewise, they've been fighting for years. And as you know, we brought that one to a conclusion. And now we have a couple of big ones. We have Russia, Ukraine, which is making a little bit of progress. And we have Israel, and nobody really knows what that one is all about. We're going to find out pretty soon, I guess.
Mr. President, the Iranian foreign minister this afternoon said if the U.S. is serious about negotiations, that you would call up Israel and request that they stop their airstrikes. Will you make that request?
Well, I think it's very hard to make that request right now. If somebody's winning, it's a little bit harder to do than if somebody's losing. But we're ready, willing, and able, and we've been speaking to Iran, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. What was the thought process behind 2-week timetable? Just a time to see whether or not people come to their senses. Did the Europeans help at all in talking with the Iranians? No, they didn't help. No. Iran doesn't want to speak to Europe. They want to speak to us. Europe is not going to be able to help in this one.
20 years ago, you were skeptical of a Republican administration that attacked a Middle East country on the idea of questionable intelligence of weapons of mass destruction. How is this moment different with Iran?
Well, there were no weapons of mass destruction. I never thought there were. And that was somewhat pre-nuclear. You know, there was a nuclear age, but nothing like it is today. And it looked like I'm right about the material that they've gathered already. It's a tremendous amount of material. And I think within a matter of weeks, or certainly within a matter of months, they're going to be able to have a nuclear weapon. We can't let that happen. I was very much opposed to Iraq. I said it loud and clear, but I was a civilian, but I guess I got a lot of publicity. But I was very much opposed to the Iraq war. And I actually did say, don't go in, don't go in, don't go in. But I said, if you're going to go in, keep the oil. But they didn't do that.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Mr. President, and there it is. And there it is. Tulsi Gabbard gave him the intelligence, not even just her, but the entire intelligence committee gave him the briefing on this whole situation and told him that Iran, see, this is why Joe Kent resigned, because he understood that Iran never posed an imminent threat to the United States at all, right? They already knew that. They knew that they were not, they didn't have the nuclear capabilities of, or threatening the United States. They already knew these things. But what did he say about Tulsi Gabbard? He didn't fire her though, but he definitely said that she's lying
at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong.
Or she's wrong.
The intelligence community said that.
Your Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
She's wrong. So if your intelligence committee is wrong, who are you receiving your information from? Who are you receiving your intelligence from? Netanyahu? Just saying. Just saying. We're spending $1 billion a day in a war. Yep. 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 We are.
Mr. President.
And thank you for subscribing to the channel. Somebody just subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Is the Chinese in any way helping Iran at this moment? Hearing reports of serious planes landing in Iran from China?
They say that they're there to take people out, but I can't tell you about that. I get along very well with China, get along very well with President Xi. I like him, he likes me. We have a very good relationship. We'll see what happens. I can't imagine them getting involved.
Is the decision that you need to make on Iran, whether to strike militarily, is this the biggest decision you'll have to make as president?
Well, I can't tell you that. I have to see what happens. I can't, really say that.
All right. So he called Tulsi Gabbard, said she was wrong. Said Tulsi Gabbard was wrong. All right, so this is gonna be my last video, guys. I really need to rest. The president signed an executive order yesterday. Happy April Fool's Day, right? Today is April Fool's Day. I don't really care about April Fool's Day. I'm not fooling anybody today. But the president signed an executive order yesterday, and so we're gonna go ahead and get into that. This will be our last video right here.
Number one, we have
become rife with fraud. People returning ballots who aren't eligible to return ballots, ballots being sent to people who aren't confirmed to be eligible voters. So what this executive order is going to do is, one, we're going to take federal data. We're going to ensure that each state's election officials are provided with a comprehensive view of who the eligible voters in their jurisdiction actually are, allowing them to properly verify that everybody voting in their elections is legally able to vote. And then it orders the Postmaster General and the U.S. Postal Service to take bold new measures to verify that ballots both being sent to people.
Iran is not finna take us out. Iran was not planning to take us out. All right. The Intelligence Committee said that they were not posing a threat against us. I'm sorry. Go argue with your grandmother. That's what the IC said. You believe Donald Trump over the IC? You're stupid. You're not very smart.
People are being sent to people who are eligible to vote, and then the ballots being returned or being properly returned by eligible voters only. And we believe that combined, the measures in this executive order will help secure elections in the future and ensure that the many abuses of our election system in the past aren't repeated in future elections.
Right. Howard?
So the fundamentals of our democracy are built on voter integrity, right? We all need it. You've said it time and time again. It's a total...
No way he's allowing this clown to even say a word after what we found out about his ass in the Epstein files. Howard Lugnutt. Ugh. That's just a shame, bro. Like, how are you allowing a man who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein years after it was discovered what he did, and you still took your family to the island to hang out with this man, and he's standing right there next to the president? He's literally standing right next, and he's talking. Like, how do you associate with a man like that, bro? This is crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Agreement amongst everybody. So here's the idea. The states, right, run these elections. They will, if they want to use the U.S. mail, the U.S. Postal Service, they're going to get a code, a barcode from the U.S. Postal Service, and they're going to put that on the envelope.
Shout out to Lucas.
And we will have one envelope per vote. None of this time where we have no idea, there's no observers to mail, there's no envelopes, there's no certainty. That's all going to go away, and what the president is doing today is he's going to make sure that mail-in ballots are safe, secure, and accurate, and will have a clear distinction. If you voted by mail, you will have it on the envelope. Obviously not on the ballot, but on the envelope. So we will know 1 million mail-in ballots. There'll be 1 million envelopes, and you'll be able to know exactly correctly that citizens voted.
And this came up with some great legal minds. They looked at the various documents and everything that was going on, because the cheating on mail-in voting is legendary. It's horrible what's going on. And it's very clearly covered, very, very clearly. So I think this will help a lot with elections. We'd like to have voter ID. We'd like to have proof of citizenship, and that'll be another subject for another time. We're working on that. You would think it would be easy. It's a 98% issue for Republicans. It's 86%. The thing just came out, a poll, and it's 86% with Republicans and Democrats, not leaders, because the leaders of the Democrats cheat. And the only people that don't want to do voter ID are people that cheat. There's no other reason for it. Proof of citizenship, they want to be able to cheat. There's no reason. They have all sorts of reasons, excuses, but it's all nonsense. They want to cheat. But the Democrats themselves are very high. It's a very positive, very, very good thing. The Democrat voters, the Democrat leaders, guys like Schumer, who are corrupt, they want to use it for cheating because their policy is so bad. Think of their policy: open borders for everybody, where people pour into our country from countries all over the world. Think of that. You look at just take any issue, take anything. Everything they have is so crazy. But the fact that they don't want to sign voter ID is another issue. It's a big issue. The fact that they don't have proof of citizenship, that they want transgender for everybody, that they want men in women's sports. So the only way, they assume, the only way they can win is to cheat. When you have men in women's sports, it's fine, it's wonderful. By the way, I worked very hard with the Olympic Committee and got that terminated for the Olympics. Very nice. Now, girls won't have to get beat up in the boxing ring like they did last time. If you saw those fights, two people that transitioned beat the hell out of everyone, out of other people, women. It was not a pretty sight to watch. So I worked very hard with the Olympic Committee, and we were able to get that out. So the Olympics will not have men in women's sports. But these are the things that they vote on, and that's why we're having a problem with them. They don't want ICE because they don't want people to be taken out of our country that are murderers, that are drug dealers, and that are people from mental institutions, the criminally insane. These are not nice people. And it's amazing. It's not even believable. If you go back 12, 13, 15, 20 years, that we even have to bring up a subject like there will be no trans mutilation. We don't want any transgender mutilization of our children. We don't want to have people pouring into our country from other countries all over the world, where prisons are opened up. All over the world, they're opened up, and they pour into our country. Murderers. 11,888 murderers. Think of that. We got many of them out. And by the way, Washington, D.C. just set a new record for safety. I'm sure you know that, because, Peter, when you walk down the street, you're not mugged lately. But it's a very safe city now. We took great pains to make it that way, but it actually happened pretty quickly. Within 3 months, it was good. Within 4 months, it was very good. Within 5 months, it was great. Now it's better than it ever was. And so Washington, D.C. is now considered a very, very safe city. We removed almost 4,000 people, just so you understand. You know, an interesting stat is that 2% of the people create more than 90% of the crime. And the good thing about that is when you get rid of 2%, it's not that many, you don't have a lot of crime.
Chat, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for tuning in, man. Much love to everybody that came in today and subscribed to the channel. Your boy is getting tired. I gotta eat me something before breakfast shut down. So I'm going to go ahead and go get me some of this nice biscuit and gravy, scrambled eggs, things of that nature, man. We out here in Dallas with it, man. Shout out to my moderator, Sterling, in the building. Sterling, man, I'm going to give you a holler later on, brother. I'm going to give you a holler later on. Is that Dom or Dom the Godfather? What's up, Chris? But we're getting ready to wind it down, guys. I know y'all doing your thing in the chat. Y'all talking about voters ID. Y'all debating back and forth. But please subscribe to the channel and consider coming back. We do 3-hour lives. This is just a 2-hour live. I'm tired today. But we do 3-hour lives. We do 4-hour lives. So you guys come back. We'll have fun next time. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I'm getting hungry, chat. I'm getting hungry. Chris said, no, I just got here. Every time y'all complain in the end, Trump be on the news for doing some real right after y'all said he was on some bull. Marshall said, but let him know, Marshall. Let him know, Marshall. Marcus, what's going on, Marcus? Have a good one. Thank you. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Good day, brother. That's right. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for subbing to the channel. Just get some food so that you can think clearly about this and get some education on the past. I hear that, Amy. I hear that, Amy. Lies, lies, lies. All right, guys. Much love to you all. Even if we disagree, much love to you. We could disagree respectfully. All right. Take it easy, people. I'm out. Sterling, I'm going to holler at you later, brother.